Hey BookTube, this is Jack from Jack's Reading Corner, and I have another day off, which is tomorrow. I have another day off tomorrow. So I'm gonna update you guys on my reading and tell you what I'm probably gonna be reading tomorrow. So I just filmed my video where I did my review on The Little Stranger by Sarah Waters. I really enjoyed it. There was at least one aspect that I was a little disappointed with, but it's a great book. So now that I'm finished with that one, I'll have to update my my documents and stuff like that, and check off on my list of my list of all the books I have in my library. It's so nice because like I said, the reason why I do the Goodreads goal is I like to show that I've accomplished. I like keeping a record of what I'm currently reading, and I like to show that I can do this. I can read 100 or 50 books. Okay, so I'm still bringing Naomi Novak's His Majesty's Dragons with me to work because it's small enough. And I also kind of want to start it because I got it for Christmas with books, along with books 3 and books, 2 and 3. Because I didn't get this one for Christmas. I need to get it. So I got books 2 and 3. Because when people look at my Amazon wish list, I don't think they have it in order. I don't have it in order. So people don't always, unless they actually click and look at it, and actually thoroughly look at it, they're not gonna. They might, if it's a series, they're not gonna know which is the next the book they need to buy in the series. So if I have more than one book from the series on there, because I usually do. So actually no, technically this is not one, but I got books 2 and 3, so I figured I need to start this one. This is basically during the Napoleonic War, where what if we had dragons during the Napoleonic War? Essentially, so. And it's from our main character, Lawrence's perspective. And he ends up being a dragon rider. I don't think it's actually called that in this world. But he comes across a dragon who he dubs the name Temeraire. He ends up becoming its rider. And it's about, their relationship during the war, and it turns out that I just read a part where Temeraire is apparently a very special breed of dragon. The first part, they did not know what kind of dragon Temeraire was, and what he was capable of, because in this world, not all dragons can breathe fire, only some of them can. And so Lawrence just talked to an expert, and he revealed that after watching and studying Temeraire, he realized that Temeraire was an imperial dragon, which is, I guess, a very rare breed of dragon. And, one of the things these dragons can do is swim. And that's I think what leads the guy, the expert, to realize that Temeraire, that's what kind of dragon Temeraire is. That's what breed he is. And now, as Jean from Bookshots has said, that Temeraire is definitely reminds you of a dog. He's always curious, always asking questions. Basically, if my dogs could talk, they would probably be a lot like Temeraire. Or at least Rascal would be. I don't know about Sophie, but Rascal would probably be a lot like Temeraire. Overexcited, always asking questions. So I've been reading this. But the only problem with bringing books with me to work is because I'm only part-time, as I've said this before, so I only get the 15-minute break, and that's not a lot if you think about it. And I want to sit there and get my it's in the back, our break room is all the way in the back, so that takes me a few minutes, a couple minutes to get back there, unless I speed walk, and it's, from when you walk, do the clock, the timer, and then you go out there. So, and then I almost ended up being late to get back from break. But I was able to make it just in time. Actually, with 1 minute to spare. So you don't get a lot of time. And with a book like this, there's not it's a long book. And there's no, like, breaks. And I don't like stopping. And, of course, when I'm at work, I have no choice. I'm not going to be like, okay, I will come when I finish when I'm at work. I mean, I'm at work. They're paying me, so I can't get away with that. So I ended up... And today I didn't even really read because they had a special, like, meal appreciation celebration. So I just got my food. And it's kind of hard when you're eating something that is messy and you need a fork for it. So I ended up not reading today. So essentially that's the downside of that. And then the other mass market paperback that I could bring with me, but it's a little bit thicker. Like I could bring The Stand. I brought The Stand with me, and then The Way of Kings. I started that one, and I'm on chapter 8 of that one. With this one, I think I'm on chapter 3. I think I'm in the middle of chapter 3 because chapter 3 is apparently a really long chapter. So it's just very hard, to read these kinds of books at work. But so far, I'm really enjoying it. And then I decided, because I recently bought all these books a set of new releases that came out this year that everybody has already talked about it. And some people love them, and some people have been, disappointed, or, oh, they're just okay. So I'm, thinking, okay, I need to read these, now. So I decided to start with King of Scars by Leigh Bardugo, which is about Nikolai's character, but it's also about Nina Zink. Zink? I don't know how to say her last name. She's from the Six of Crows duology, and Zoya from the original Grisha trilogy. And it's essentially about how Nikolai is now running the country, and he's very much struggling, but then he's kind of suffering from the after effects of what the Darkling did to him in the original trilogy. There's still consequences to that, and it's basically Zoya's perspective and his perspective on that situation and how to run this country. And then we get Nina's point of view, where she's essentially trying to find and save all the Grisha have been affected by Param. I don't know how to say it. I have to look it up. That's why audiobooks are great. That's one of the things that audiobooks are good for, is pronunciation of certain words, especially if it's a book set like a lot of fantasy, of course, has their own made-up words, and of course sometimes they're inspired by real-life words from other countries. And then this is kind of Russian inspired, so there are certain pronunciations of these words. So that's one of the things. But I mean, audiobooks are expensive, the same price as a hardback book, or more expensive than a hardback book. And I don't drive, so the only time I would listen to them is when I'm hanging out or, in my room. And I also watch BookTube when I'm in my room. And then there's and maybe when I'm traveling, most of the time I'm only listening to it when I'm traveling, because again, I don't drive, so when we go visit family, my parents are the ones driving. So I could listen to it then. And it would be a little lot. It wouldn't be as well. No, it could still be very heavy. But anyway, so so far I'm really I'm liking the political intrigue and seeing how they're dealing with everything. With what happened after the original trilogy, and then the Six of Crows duology. And I think this is also going to be a duology, but who knows? Maybe we'll get surprised. It'll be a trilogy. But I'm so far liking it. I know a lot of people have been disappointed with it, and I think it does help that I watched a lot of reviews on it, so I know that it's not going to be centered on Nikolai, really, even though it said that it was Nikolai's book. It's more like Nikolai and then the people's two other characters' perspective on Nikolai and his situation. I think that's a better way to describe it. It's not just Nikolai's book, but I think probably publishers or Bardugo's agent probably told her let everyone know it's Nikolai's book because he's a favorite character. So, and Nikolai's in here. He plays a role in here. I mean, he plays an important role in the story, but like I said, he's not the only main character in the story. But so far, I'm enjoying it. Right now, they're trying to bring together the two nations, and Nina is still continuing to try to save the Grisha, but she's also struggling with, like, her, of course, with what happened at the end of her in her personal life, what happened at the end of Crooked Kingdom. She's still kind of dealing with that, and it's what's great is that what I think a lot of people appreciate is that Nina's story isn't about her getting a guy. It's not about her trying to find romance and love and stuff. It's about her trying to deal with the aftermath of what happened and like figure out who she is and protecting the Grisha, especially like who she's with, like with what happens to her, not just like with what happens to her physically in that duology, which I'm sure most of you have read it, so I really probably don't need to be all that cryptic. But I don't know. Maybe some of you, may be watching just because, not for this series, for this universe. So I'm reading that as well, and that is one of the books that I want to get done before the cruise. And then the last book, I'm also reading, before I get to that one, let me just talk about, I'm also reading The Lost Queen, which is going to be, I think, it's going to end up being a trilogy, where we get the story of, first of all, Merlin before he was Merlin, when he was a little boy, or he was like the inspiration for Merlin, and he has a sister who I don't know who she's gonna be, who like in the original story, if she's gonna like, who is she gonna be? Someone in the original Arthur or Merlin legend? I don't know who she's gonna, or if she's a whole new character, or is she supposed to be someone that's in the original story? Maybe like she's gonna be Queen Mab, or maybe she's gonna. My latest theory is that she's gonna fall in love with Uther Pendragon, or like I said, maybe she's Queen Mab, or maybe she's Morgan Le Fay or something. I don't know, but although I mean she has a name. I mean, like I guess they could change it if she was a character like Morgan Le Fay. Like they could change her name. Or Queen Mab, because I mean, but anyway, there are two siblings, and their father is, and they are kind of at war with Vortigern. I don't know if I'm saying it correctly or not. I mean, that's how they, in the mini-series Merlin, starring Sam Neill and Miranda Richardson, they said Vortigern, so I was assuming that that's who that character was. But anyway, these two siblings have been sent to our meeting with not Uther. He has a different name. I'm trying to think. Let me look at the pronunciation guide because I just realized last time there's a pronunciation guide. Their father has been summoned to meet this guy. So it does go into the, so it actually does go into her adult years, because we do have her kids. Well, maybe she marries not a Pendragon. Let me see. Or maybe, I don't know. I'm gonna find out where. I'm trying to find the king they meet. Emery's. That's the king. Emery's Pendragon. They are meeting him for the first time. And the father is deciding, do I like this guy or not? So I'm not this. I don't know how you say the author's names. I wonder if that's a guy name or a woman's name. Anyway, but I didn't read any of this yesterday because I was focusing on getting The Little Stranger finished, and like I said, I wanted to start King of Scars this month, and so I think the author, at first I thought it was a guy, but it might be a woman. But so I didn't read any, so I don't have much to report on this except for what I just told you, which is that they meet the king, Emery's Pendragon. Which, and now in the Merlin, the sci-fi series, the Merlin, I think it was on Sci-Fi, the series, not the mini-series, but the actual series with Colin Morgan. It's like basically about Merlin and Arthur when they were young men. And they become friends, and that they're friends. And Merlin started out as his servant. So it was like a different take on the story. And I can't remember why I brought that one up. I don't remember why I brought that one up. Dang it. Oh well. So anyway, so I read this. I didn't read this one today or the last couple days. And then I'm also currently, some of the other ones that I haven't read the last few days. But I need to. There's like the Poisonwood Bible, which is basically a Baptist minister takes his family to Africa to minister and spread the word of God. But when he gets there, he does not like how these people praise God and everything. They're a little too enthusiastic in his eyes because he's a conservative man, and we get all the perspectives are from his daughters. I don't know if the mom is there. We're gonna get any of the mom's perspective. I haven't read very far, and like I say, I haven't read this. This is another one I haven't read the last few days. But the young girls are his daughters are feeling very overwhelmed. They're not sure. Some of them aren't sure if they want to stay here, but they know that they have no choice. So yeah, I don't really, again, another one that I don't have much to report. So I do need to read The Demon King, and I figured, this is why, but the chapters are incredibly long, so I need to read this one. I don't have really anything to report with this one. And then I wanted to finish reading this one. I wanted to get this one read, and that is A Conjuring of Light, the third book in Shades of Magic, and the final book. Although the author V. Schwab has written, I think they're graphic novels about Rai and Kel's father, like his story. But anyway, this is basically after, it picks up right where the second one left off. I'm not even halfway, I don't think. Like this, what the part I read, it feels that feels like essentially something that would come during the climax. So I don't know what the author would finish what's going to do now if they have that part coming up. Like, I don't know what she's gonna do next, or maybe maybe what I'm thinking is not gonna be the final battle, and maybe there's gonna be more to it than just the battle with this being. So I haven't read that one. Like again, I was trying to focus on getting The Little Stranger done, so I'm gonna read that one too. I don't know which ones I'm gonna focus on tomorrow. That's the frustration about having only one day off and then having to go to work again, is that you don't have a lot of time, like 24 hours. But then again, I'm sure that a lot of people that are used to reading like the whole day, and I'm not as much as passionate as I am about reading. I like to do other stuff. So I'm not reading all day. So I mean, if I read 24 hours all day, then yeah, I probably could potentially get like at least one of these books finished and then get halfway through the others. Or maybe get a little bit more through another one like The Lost Queen or something. I don't know. But I don't read all day as much as I love reading. I don't. I like to do other things, and then I get distracted by other things. So anyway, that is what I have been reading lately, and that is what I'm gonna read tomorrow. I mean, not all those books I'm probably not gonna get to all those books tomorrow, but oh, and I also, there's also Count of Monte Cristo. I'm not even halfway in that, but basically our characters, Albert and Franz, have been to Rome, or have gone to Rome, and they have met the Count. And Franz, Albert's friend, has recognized the Count as Sinbad the Sailor, who he met when he was on the Isle of Monte Cristo. So, and like, the Count has offered them a carriage because, like I said, when they first got to Rome, they did not have carriage. There were no carriages for them. So the Count of Monte Cristo had heard from the Majestys that they needed one. So he offered his services, and he takes them around, shows them around the city and stuff like that, and he takes them to an execution because apparently that's what gets. It's like reality TV, where it's like how nowadays the thing that entertains us, that's kind of a guilty pleasure, is reality TV, and then for them, I guess it's watching someone get executed. But I mean, it's like 1800s, so I also read that one, and I'm trying to read a little bit more of that. There's no way I'm going to finish it because, like I said, I'm not that fast of a reader, so I'm not going to finish that. And I almost wish I had bought the mass market, but then I would have to buy 2 books. Because it's so long that it has to be, when in mass market form, it's divided into part 1 and part 2, into 2 books. So, but that's one of the books I've had for a long time, for years, even before we moved here, along with American Gods, and I used to do that one, and Malice, and Clash of Kings. So basically, those are all the books I'm thinking about that I need to, like, read. I keep going back. I'm thinking about bringing them, but like I said, to the cruise, like I said, I don't want to bring too many books, especially because we're going to be flying, and I won't have as much time. But the problem is having to narrow it down and pick the books you want to bring with you. So anyway, like I said, that is my current reading update. I'd love to know what yours is, what you are currently reading, what you are hoping to read. And if you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and click subscribe if you haven't already. And I hope, as always, you are enjoying your reading, and I will talk to you all later. Alright, bye!